YouTube gardening gurus are lying to cucumber growers. And if you've been following their advice to grow tomatoes, you've probably been lied to too. They told you it's all the same. Cucumbers, tomatoes, same soil, same fertilizer, same watering. But here's the truth. Treating tomatoes like cucumbers is one of the fastest ways to ruin your harvest.
I made all the mistakes, followed all the YouTube hacks, and I got weak plants, watery fruit, and zero flavor. Sound familiar? Those wilted, sad-looking tomato plants struggling to produce even a handful of bland, watery tomatoes. That was me, folks. I was this close to giving up on growing tomatoes altogether.
But then I discovered the truth. Growing great tomatoes takes a different approach. It's time to ditch the cucumber mindset and step into the world of tomato-specific care. Once I stopped growing like a cucumber gardener and started growing like a tomato gardener, everything changed. And today I'm going to share those secrets with you. All right, let's talk about planting your tomatoes. Most new growers, they treat it like any other seedling. Plop it in the ground at the same depth it was in the pot, right? Wrong? This is the first mistake you need to avoid. When you transplant your tomato, bury 2/3 of the stem. That's right, bury most of that stem.
Now, you might be thinking, won't that hurt the plant? Absolutely not. Tomatoes are special. They have this incredible ability to grow roots from their stems. And when you plant deep, you're encouraging a much larger, more robust root system.
We're talking about a network of roots that will reach deep into the soil, anchoring your plant against wind and weather. But it's not just about stability. A strong root system is the key to unlocking more nutrients from the soil. And more nutrients means stronger plants, more flowers, and ultimately more of those delicious tomatoes.
Now, before you go burying your tomato plants up to their eyeballs, there's one more thing you need to know. When you're backfilling the hole, don't just dump the soil on top. Take your time and gently firm the soil around the stem. You want good contact between the roots and the soil, but you don't want to compact it too much. Give those roots room to breathe.
So remember, plant deep, build those roots, and watch your tomato plants thrive. Now let's talk about feeding your tomato plants. I see so many gardeners making the same mistake. They think that more fertilizer equals more tomatoes. But just like us, tomato plants need a balanced diet.
In the early stages, when your plants are focusing on growing strong stems and leaves, a balanced fertilizer is key. Look for a blend with equal parts nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, something like a 5-5-5 or 10-10-10. But here's where things get interesting. Once those beautiful yellow flowers start popping up, it's time to shift gears. Your tomato plants are no longer focused on leafy growth, they're putting their energy into producing fruit.
And that's where a low nitrogen, high phosphorus blend comes in. Phosphorus is essential for flower and fruit development, so switching to a fertilizer with a higher phosphorus ratio will give your plants exactly what they need to produce an abundant harvest.
Now, I know it's tempting to give your plants a little extra boost with more fertilizer, but trust me on this one. Resist the urge. Over-fertilizing can actually harm your plants, leading to lush foliage but very few tomatoes. Instead, focus on providing consistent, balanced nutrition throughout the growing season. And remember, it's always better to err on the side of caution when it comes to fertilizer.
All right, let's talk about pruning. Now, some folks might think pruning is cruel, like giving your tomato plant a bad haircut. But trust me, it's essential for a healthy, productive plant. We're not just hacking away willy-nilly, though. We're pruning with a purpose.
See this little guy? It's called a sucker. It grows in the joint between the main stem and a branch. And if you let them grow unchecked, they'll turn your tomato plant into a jungle. You'll have more leaves than you can handle, and your tomatoes will be small and underdeveloped.
That's because suckers are energy vampires. They steal energy from the rest of the plant, energy that should be going towards producing those juicy tomatoes. So, how do you prune suckers? It's easy. Simply pinch them off with your fingers or a pair of clean pruning shears.
When you prune suckers, you're telling the plant to focus its energy where it matters most, on producing fruit. Now, I know it can be hard to prune, especially when your plant is looking so lush and green. But trust me, your tomato plants will thank you for it in the long run.
Now, let's talk about a problem that makes every tomato grower cringe, blossom end rot. You know what I'm talking about, right? That heartbreaking moment when you discover those black sunken spots on the bottom of your tomatoes. It's enough to make you cry.
Blossom end rot is a sign of calcium deficiency in your tomato plants, and if you're not careful, it can ruin your entire harvest. Now I know what you might be thinking, but I heard crushed eggshells prevent blossom end rot.
And while it's true that eggshells contain calcium, they break down too slowly to be an effective solution for an active deficiency. So what can you do? The key is to be proactive. Before you even plant your tomatoes, amend your soil with lime. Lime helps to raise the pH of your soil, making it easier for your plants to absorb calcium.
And if you start to see signs of blossom end rot during the growing season, don't panic. You can still give your plants a boost with a liquid calcium supplement. Just be sure to follow the instructions on the label carefully.
Let's talk about watering your tomato plants. And no, this isn't just about dumping a bucket of water on them every few days. We're talking about watering with intention. Tomatoes, you see, they hate inconsistency. One day they're drowning, the next they're parched. This kind of yo-yo watering stresses them out, leading to all sorts of problems.
Overwatering can suffocate the roots, making them more susceptible to diseases. And then, when the soil dries out too much, the plant goes into panic mode. The result? Cracked fruit, blossom end rot, and even reduced flavor.
So how do we water with intention? First off, mulch, mulch, mulch. A good layer of organic mulch around your tomato plants helps to retain moisture, keeping the soil temperature consistent. Next, water deeply and less frequently. Instead of giving your plants a little sprinkle every day, water them thoroughly once or twice a week, allowing the water to soak deep into the root zone.
And here's a little trick. As your tomatoes start to ripen, slightly reduce the amount of water you give them. This slight stress actually concentrates the sugars in the fruit, resulting in more flavorful tomatoes.
So there you have it, folks, the truth about growing tomatoes. No more generic advice, no more cucumber-style care. It's time to step up your tomato game and start seeing real results.
Remember, growing amazing tomatoes isn't about luck. It's about understanding what your plants need and providing the right care. If you're ready to stop wasting time on generic advice and start seeing real results in your garden, hit that like button.
Subscribe because we're just getting started, and let me know in the comments, what's your biggest tomato struggle right now?